Hello, welcome. We're gonna learn how inputs and outputs work in Java. So first of all, you have to just open your IntelliJ IDEA and make a new project, and that's all. I already have it. So let me remove this. Okay. When you're gonna input a variable, doesn't matter what kind of variable, you first of all you need to create an object of the class scanner, which actually scans the inputs. So we have to create it this way. Here you have to name it. I will name it input equals to new scanner, and here we just have to put system.in and semicolon. Okay, this is the way we have to create the object of this type. Okay, and we're gonna use this guy a lot of times. So I can define every kind of variable that I want, so I'm gonna define it as a string. So string member name is equal to, for example, actually I have to use this guy right here right now, put it here, dot, and you can when you are going to input a string here, the method could be both next or next line, but there's a small difference between these two that I'm gonna tell you, but let me just use this one right here. And next, and I can use it again also. Okay, and I will let it be next again. So, and if I want to, before I tell you how to just display them, let us just run it. Okay, we just it just lets you enter your strings twice, and that's all. Doesn't work any other thing. Okay, the names are gonna be Gemini and enter cookie, and that's all. Look, this is the end of the program, but here I separated them by an enter. What happens if I use a space instead of an enter? When I write Gemini space JK and that's all. It's okay when you use next. It will be possible to use both space and enter to separate your strings. Okay, but when you use next line, look, next line, let's run it again and see what will happen. Okay, first I will enter two names and separate them by an enter. Okay, JK and G. The program ended. But even what happens if I use a space? Let's run it again. Now this way, J space JK and enter. The program doesn't end right here because it's still waiting for you to enter the member name 2. When you use next line, you cannot use separator like space here. It will be only enter. Okay, so it's still waiting for you to enter the member name 2, and let us just stop it and have a few changes here. For example, if I want to display them, I'm going to use this method, system.out.println. Okay, you can show every kind of variable here. It could be a string, a constant string, integer, float, character, and whatever you want. So I want to show member name, plus space plus member name 2. Okay, and let's run it again and see exactly what I mean. No, I don't want a breakpoint. Okay, all right, and you know, here's next line, so I'm not allowed to use a space to separate my strings, but I'm gonna use it, and let's see what happens. The first name will be V, and the space, the second one will be maybe hobby, and enter. Okay, it's not done yet, so waiting for the member name 2. Okay, and if this would be sugar, and enter. See, V hobby is only the member name here. Okay, because you didn't use enter, it's still the compiler will take the both of them as the member name, and when you use enter, sugar will be member name 2. Okay, when you use next line, remember and notice that you're not allowed to use space to separate your variables and inputs. Okay, and wait, and okay, let's just have another kind of variable. For example, int age will be equal to, again, we're going to use it, and we are allowed to. And when we are inputting an integer, we cannot use next only, you know. This will be an error. So what should we do? We just have to use next int, and that's all. You know, the error is not so. Let me just remove this one and put age here. Okay, I already told you here you can use any single thing that you want to display and show. So let's run it again, and look, here is next line, so I have to, for example, put Jane, enter, and age 29, Jane 29, as you see, and the space here, which is this guy. Okay, but what happens if I just use a space? It's still waiting for the age because you haven't inputted yet, and Jean 29 will be only member name. Okay, so let's use next here. Okay, I write Jean 29, and as you see, it did work because next is okay with both enter and space. And of course, if I use enter, no, it's still working. And that's all. That was so easy, right? See you